if you are a person with real responsibilities, like you have a mortgage to pay, you have a family to feed, if you've got rent to pay and bills to pay, don't go out and buy some real performance car that's going to piss you off and you can't enjoy it enough on the road, and you're going to pay a ton of money, and then you're going to put your foot down for 3 seconds one time and you're going to get caught and lose your license and like ruin your life. MX-5, I'm not even kidding. This car solves all your problems. Slow cars will solve all your problems. It doesn't have to be an MX-5. I know people don't all love MX-5s. Clio RS, Golf GTI. There's a million other cars that have about 200 horsepower and are fairly light. Just go and pick one and you will have more fun than the idiots in the M4s at the car meet doing donuts when they inevitably misjudge something because it's forged titanium, magnesium, expensive materialium. They will pay like £2,000 to replace stuff, whereas you can smash your car, pay 200 quid and smash your car again the next day, and that is realistic for a normal person. Stick with me because later in this video I have what I consider some of the best third person or 360 footage ever shown on YouTube. This video is sponsored by Akaso, and that third-person footage was captured with their entry-level 360 camera for £199. This thing is absolutely ridiculous. I love it. If you guys want a guide on how to get that type of third-person footage, leave me a comment down below. Genuine performance is boring on the road. There's this thing people say, which is you should drive at 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. And the reason for that is because whenever you're driving on the real road, you need a margin of error. Other people are going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Roads are narrow. There's no runoff. There is danger and potential for destruction of property. So when you're driving spiritedly on the road, you need to leave yourself some margin. That means that realistically, you can't be doing ballistic pace on the road. It's just not reasonable. You don't need lots of power to do that. And importantly, you don't need lots of tire. You don't need lots of grip to do that. When you have a car that's overtired, especially in the modern world, this is the trend, right? You make a heavy car because it needs to be big and have lots of interior space. But because it's big, it has to be sprung a certain way, and then it has to be tired a certain way. Bigger wheels with wider tires. And the end result that you get out of that is a car that has too much grip. And at that 50 to 70 mile an hour real world enjoyment driving, car's uninterested, right? It's so far below its limit, it's driving at 2 or 3 tenths. So you never have fun. This type of car, 205 width tire in a fairly small body, is a recipe for actually enjoying your car on the road. Watch how long I can go full throttle in this slow car. Still full throttle. Look how hard I can drive this slow car. People always talk about 0 to 60 times as if lower is better, but it's really not. The faster your 0 to 60 is, the faster you're done accelerating. I want a slow 0 to 60 time. If I have a slow 0 to 60 time, I get to enjoy doing 0 to 60 more. People these days are so caught up in what's the fastest and the numbers and the rubbish. I think there's a real divide between being a car enthusiast, which just means you like, you know, the latest and greatest in the supercars, and being a driving enthusiast. And I think I'm a driving enthusiast. And what's really funny is that in a slow car, especially a car that's quite analog, you get a lot of feel. So even driving at 40 miles an hour behind this little Hyundai, the steering's wriggling in my hands. I can feel the texture of the road. The car's making a lovely noise. I've got all this headroom. Big shout out to Akaso, because other cameras won't let you do this. You can drive a fast car down here at exactly the same speed, but you just will not get the same experience. I have to work for this speed. Like, look at this, I'm in 3rd gear, I'm gonna go full throttle here, absolutely nothing happens. I've got to work for 2nd gear, I've got to use all the accelerator pedal. It's just phenomenal. And all the more fun because my car's slow. Imagine having a BMW M2 here right now. You would be so frustrated. You have 500 horsepower. There is no situation where I could go full throttle in a BMW M2. The speed limit here is 50 miles an hour. If I went full throttle, I'd immediately lose my license. I've taken some of these corners at like 30 miles an hour and I've got a smile on my face. It's just fantastic. You don't get this kind of experience in fast cars. Cars that have genuine performance to them. You just don't get this feeling. This feeling of the tires complaining at 30 miles an hour. And everyone seems to think that that's a negative. People seem to think that like, oh no, I don't want a slow car. No, you really do though. It's so much more fun on the road. Especially if you drive these types of roads. A truly fast car is only going to frustrate you here. Cost is a big issue. This car's cheap. You can buy one of these for like $2,000. The real consumables, like, I think I've done about 4,000 or 5,000 miles in it in my half a year. Mainly hard miles, to be honest. And I've topped the oil up once. But it's not expensive. A bottle of oil is what, I don't know, 50 quid? Even if I do all the spark plugs in it, it's just not, it's a 4-cylinder, like, it's cheap. I've been doing a lot of drifty boy stuff. And Tire Streets is a big brand in the drift space. You can get their PHI tires for £40 a corner on this car. Which is, I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous, right? It's for brand new tyres. If you want some nice, good, like, I've got Bridgestone Potenza S001s on here, which is like a half track day tyre. And even those are like 80 quid a corner. So £320 to do all the tyres. On my M2, that was the cost of one tyre. It's absolutely amazing. I love it. You know when you have a barrier that stops you enjoying something, you've got to think about something before you commit to it. When you remove the cost, it just, those barriers melt away. I'm always driving this thing. I'm always driving it hard. Just having a great time because it doesn't cost a lot to run. Even if you break it, like you can get parts infinitely and they're cheap. I'm learning to drift at the moment. If I smack this car into a curb or break a control arm or whatever it might be, the entire accident will probably cost me like 200 quid. If you can have a car that's a toy that is cheap to operate, it will change your life. I promise you guys. It really will. Even the modification, normally mods are like one of the most expensive things you do to a car, right? And they're pointless because they're optional, but you're choosing to blow money on something, which is not gonna translate into making the car worth more or anything. Like mods are just the worst. Mods were super cheap on this. Because the wheels are small, they weren't super expensive. Because I just did the springs, the suspension was like £160 and a lot of my time. I did the interior on the cheap, the exhaust was on the cheap. Everything was on the cheap. On real roads with real speed limits, you're just going to end up driving at the speed limit anyway. So why wouldn't you want a car that gives you a bit more feel and a bit more feedback? A car that you can go full throttle in and not lose your license. The 50 mile an hour speed limit would really frustrate you in a genuinely fast car. But in this, the suspension's bobbing and weaving. I've been out here for like 3 hours now, so my brake pedal is long. The steering is buzzing away in my hands and telling me information. You just don't get this type of experience in a real performance car. Not to say that this is not a performance car, but this is an analog car. It's a different generation of thing. I'm not even driving quickly, and the truth is, I'd be going about the same pace in a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. These are tight, technical, narrow roads. You can't go fast here. The speed limit is probably about as quick as you really want to be going. I actually think a slow car that sounds good is better than a fast car that sounds good, because you get to hear it more. Fast car that sounds good, it spools up its turbo, it's off, and you never hear it again. This can drop a gear and enjoy the sound, enjoy the handling, enjoy the feeling. Oh, yes! Yes! Speed limit thing is important for two reasons. Number one, if you're a normal person, you can't really afford to just keep paying speeding tickets and fines. And so if you have a really fast car, it's very difficult to enjoy it because you're constantly at odds with yourself. You're like, throttle? No. Enjoyment must stop. If you buy an MX-5, there's still an element of that. I mean, at the end of the day, even at 60 miles an hour on a back road, is not reaching its limits, right? But it's getting much closer than a truly fast car would, which just makes it more fun. It means you can exploit more of its capabilities. And secondly, if you go too far, you can really mess up your life, especially if you've got a genuinely fast car and you're genuinely using that performance. You can ruin your life. Even in Germany, I mean, all the comments will say like, oh, we'll just have the fast car in Germany. We have the Autobahn. Yeah, but the back roads are not unlimited speed limit. I don't enjoy going fast in straight lines. Going fast around corners is what is fun. Even in Germany, you have a speed limit on the back roads. You go fast enough on a back road, you will permanently ruin your life. This very cleanly leads me on to my final point, which I actually think is the most important. Don't get sucked in by your favorite influencer. I've been watching a lot of OG Schaffen at the moment, right? Because he's cool. Drifting through the mountains in Germany or Switzerland or wherever he may be at that any one time. He lives the life we all want to live. This is not realistic. I was watching his how to drift video because again, I'm learning to drift. Dude burned up a set of tires in a lap and a half or something like that. Those tires are £300 a piece, so it's £600 in a lap and a half. Like, I can't do that. Most normal human beings shouldn't be spending that amount of money on tires. And equally, he gets in a ton of trouble with the police because of drifting or speeding or whatever it may be, especially in different jurisdictions. You know, they have different rules. In the UK, they're quite militant on speeding. Really speeding once, you get 6 points. I actually already have 6 points. You get caught speeding the second time, like really speeding, they take your license, you're done. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm on my last strike now. And if you watch Schaffen's videos or you follow Schaffen on social media, Instagram or whatever, you'll find that oftentimes he's at police stations and getting arrested for driving dangerously and all of this stuff. His lawyer makes a killing because he just comes and saves him, I would imagine. I'm the influencer behind the screen, right? But I'm still a normal dude. I sold the M2 and bought an MX-5 so I could enjoy more spirited driving, right? I'm the normal dude. As far as the influencers go, I'm like the least influencer dude. I will just tell you the fucking truth. I'm not super rich. I make enough to live off of YouTube. I still have a day job. I'm not that guy. Yeah, I don't have a lawyer to come and bail me out when I got arrested for driving too aggressively. Like, that's not my world. I don't have that. And your average Joe doesn't have that. Absolutely nothing against Schaffen. Fucking love the dude's content. And actually, we need people like him to make interesting shit. And he might be one of the only people that can, because he has all of this infrastructure around him to allow it to happen, plus the driving skill, plus the cars, plus the money. You know, like, there's a lot that goes into this machine to get these cool clips that you see. To return to the point, normal people like you and me, we can't be doing that. We will ruin our lives financially, go into jail and police and stuff. Like, we can't drive like Schaffen as much as we might want to. So my whole point here is, don't let yourself be too wowed by the influencers, okay? There is a lot of money being spent and a lot of deals being struck to allow this stuff to happen. This is not available or possible to your average Joe. The closest your average Joe, like me and you, is going is, you'll find there might be some local drift events. Go to the local drift event and have a good time on the kart track or whatever they have. That's as close as you're getting. The average person shouldn't be going street drifting. Let me be real with you guys for a second, yeah? I've already got the 6 points on my license. I do it again, my license is gone. That means I lose my day job. I can't make content for YouTube anymore. Like, my life is over. I'm gonna lose my house and I'm gonna go and live with my parents. Like, life is over. I'm a real human. Like, I have responsibilities. If you're a young petrol head, and you're thinking, oh, all these guys on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, they have such cool cars. You don't need to keep up with them. If you're a normal person, you have responsibilities. You can't just go losing your license. Maybe you don't have a lot of money. Whatever the situation may be. Or if you're just cheap, like me, but you want to have a good time, you want to enjoy a car, you are a petrol head. What more could you ever want? I just can't believe that people look down on NCMX5s. People look down on MX5s in general. I do not think they get it. This is the most fun you can have. And it's cheap. You could buy one of these for $2,000. I'm not even driving it that fast. I'm driving at the speed limit. And I'm having the best time. Look guys, forget everything you know about cars. Stop being car enthusiasts and start being driving enthusiasts. That's all I have to say. My name's Mick. I drive cars. Peace.